Hello there, these are our top stories for the night. Uganda Law Society condemns attack on magistrate. Police counter-terrorism squad to beef up security in and around court premises. On the international scene, Iran seizes Iraqi tanker for smuggling fuel. On the sports scene, Wakiso Giants host KCCA FC in the FUFA Super 8 tournament. I'm Rod Dangonzi. On sign language, Mugalu Mohammed. 6 suspects accused of inciting violence in court have been charged before Buganda Road Magistrate Stella Maris Amabalis. These are accused of hurling bottles in court as Buganda Road Magistrate Gladys Kamasanyu ruled in a cyber harassment case against Stella Nyanzi. The accused include Ojurire, Augustine, Waiswa Abdallah, Wanyera Simon Wesonge, Moses, Nsombi Fred and Fatuma Aisha. Through their lawyers, Elias Lukwago and Isaac Semakade, they asked to be released on bail. The presiding magistrate adjourned court to the 16th of August to hear the bail application, and the accused were remanded to Luzira prison. Relatedly, Uganda Law Society has called upon the judiciary to improve the infrastructure and guarantee safety of judicial officers while at work. This follows a Friday incident as Buganda Road Magistrate, Grade 1 Magistrate Margaret Kamasanyu was attacked.
Week, Buganda Road Grade 1 Magistrate Gladys Kamasanyu was attacked and hurled at a water bottle as she delivered a ruling on Dr. Stella Nyanzi, who was found guilty of cyber harassment.
In terms of 9 months.
The water bottle is said to have been thrown by supporters or sympathizers of Dr. Stella Nyanzi, who had stormed court to witness the ruling. Uganda Law Society has condemned the attack.
A court official should never be attacked at any one time for doing her job.
Uganda Law Society President Simon Peter Kinobei said those arrested should serve as an example to those planning to abuse court processes.
This should be a deterrent. There is no excuse whatsoever for bad manners. Court is supposed to be secured at all points and at all times. There should be enough security. And that's why I thank the court orderlies that intervened immediately. That act happened and arrested these people.
The magistrate may not rule as in what you expected or to your satisfaction, but when you're in court, it's best you respect court at least.
We've seen people going in court in colors, chanting in a court of law that is supposed to be a neutral arbiter. Let's do our politics outside, but we should not extend our politics to the courts of law, and we should not more so extend them to the presiding officers.
Kinobei, however, blames the incident.
For instance, I look at our Supreme Court and wonder and think about everything possible that can go wrong in that building, because it wasn't built to be a court. You have the Court of Appeal on Twed Plaza, same problem. Our government needs to invest in infrastructure for the judiciary to ensure that the courts are built in such a way that magistrates are shielded from potential danger from the litigants.
Uganda Law Society plans to start pushing for contempt of court to punish those that disrespect court. Bernard Higa, UBC.
Meanwhile, the hooliganism at Buganda Road Court during sentencing of former Makerere University researcher Dr. Stella Nyanzi last week has prompted Uganda Police and Counter-Terrorism Department to beef up security around court premises. According to Uganda Police spokesperson Fred Enanga, stringent measures are to be taken to prevent unwanted material inside the courtroom.
Interfered.
On Friday last week, an errant court audience held a bottle of mineral water at Grade 1 Magistrate Gladys Kamasanyu as she sentenced former Makerere University researcher Dr. Stella Nyanzi.
Of 9 months.
The Counter-Terrorism Department of Police has adopted a vigilant mechanism at the entrance of the court premises to treat some items as illegal within the courtroom.
We've meanwhile stepped up security measures at all court premises and inside the courtrooms. All visitors and public attendees will have to be screened thoroughly, and those who want to enter the courtroom will have to go through additional security screening processes to ensure that such objects, items, bottled beverages, water, and even party colors are not allowed in the courtrooms.
6 arrested on that day are in police custody as police prepares a complete report while retrieving CCTV footage to establish a thorough file that will be presented to the Director of Public Prosecution.
Arrest was in relation to their disorderly conduct that was intended to impede, disrupt, and disturb the orderly conduct of the court process. Out of this, we do have Zaina Abalinavyo, who it is alleged through an object at the trial magistrate, together with 5 others who we've retrieved the CCTV footages in and outside the courtroom, which we are further scrutinizing to clearly reveal the role that was played by each of the suspects.
Police has opened a death inquiry file to establish the actual cause of death of the Kampala musician Mike Alinda, aka Ziggy Wine, who died after scary torture from the abductors who kidnapped him 2 weeks ago.
And the death inquiry file to investigate the circumstances surrounding the death of Michael Alinda, and our regional team in Kawempe has taken up that matter. They are going to work very closely with our homicide department from CID headquarters. The family was not fast-tracking this case with the police. They opted to take a laid-back position because of the claim that they were receiving very chilling, be careful threats from the alleged kidnappers, whom we don't know up to now.
Meanwhile, police investigations into the security of the public and Patrick Mugisha, a lawyer who was abducted on 31st of July but later released, is in progress.
Our territorial police in Kampala Metropolitan South, that is actively involved in operations aimed at eliminating border thefts and related murders, arrested 2 additional suspects and took them into custody. Now, these include one called Nwamanya.
Abdul Nasili Lubwama reporting.
Now, letters written by the Ministry of Lands officials for people to occupy ranches in Chiriandongo district have caused land wrangles in Bunyoro region. Chairperson Chiriandongo District Land Board Charles Nteira Hoki informed the Commission the need to degazette part of the game reserves.
The Commission of Inquiry into Land Matters has moved to Midwest to West Nile region, starting in Chiriandongo district, to assess and collect recommendations on land matters. But when they met land officials in Chiriandongo district, there were land issues ranging from the occupancy of ranches to failure of the Chiriandongo district land board to address such matters.
So people still have Honorable Nantaba's letter of temporary settlement, and yet land is being given out for investment. So that is the confusion we are in. At the end of the day, Honorable Namuganza writes to the RDC and the LC5 that those ranches should remain as they are until a pronouncement is made. After 2 days, Honorable Beta Amongi writes to the other distant chairman clarifying those ranches. Those ranches are owned by those people, by the owners. These were the Agilis who bought the Kianongo sugar, who were offered. So people.
In the past, land in Bunyoro was not owned with documents which made people settle everywhere. But with the increasing population, the struggle for land ownership has escalated. The controversy started early with former Minister for Lands Ida Nantaba, who wrote authorizing some people to occupy ranches. The Ministry of Lands was cited for issuing land titles to investors who displaced natives. And
in the Bunyoro sub-region, we have had that colonial problem where land titling has been a very big problem. So there is vast land in Kiriandongo without proper ownership. But we have around 3 or 4 categories of land. We have the kingdom land, we have the central government land, we have the local government land.
But apart from investors, there arose discriminative compensation, and for small landowners, they couldn't get justice. Charles Ntailehoki elaborated on the occupancy of ranches by UPDF.
Agency reports from the core security were saying there are some rebels in those ranches, and how would they handle that? So they had to seek for UPDF to go there and take charge of the ranches as they investigate those reports. So
in 2011, Nyamalebe Landless Group went to the Minister for Lands by then Ida Nantaba, who authorized them to occupy the 11 ranches in Chiliandongo. They have, however, vowed not to leave the contested land unless when they are compensated. Sudat Kaye, UBC News in Chiliandongo.
In view of international commitments and growth regarding achievement of Sustainable Development Goals targets, Uganda needs to invoke strong parliamentary oversight and adopt the United Nations Agenda 2030. During the 5th Commonwealth Parliamentary Association Regional Conference in Islamabad, Pakistan, members were urged to create a just society, which can only be done through strong parliaments. Let's take a look.
Without increased justice, the world will not end poverty, reduce inequality, reach the vulnerable, and create conditions for shared and sustainable prosperity, promote peace and inclusion. At the heart of the 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development is the vision of a just, equitable, tolerant, open and socially inclusive world in which the needs of the most vulnerable are met. These are issues which dominated the panel discussions on Sustainable Development Goals under the theme Parliamentary Partnerships for SDGs, organized by the Commonwealth Parliament Association, Asia Region, sitting in Islamabad, Pakistan.
How many women are discriminated at the job place? We should be talking about these issues. In my life, I have always found the woman to be the more hardworking person in the family.
During the debate, delegates from Commonwealth countries shared best practices.
Because for us, we have now 2 slots. If I would say you can contest anywhere, but the man cannot contest on affirmative action because it is specifically for the women. But the woman can contest also another woman on this one, and the number goes up.
And on income inequality, which the UK has fallen back on over recent years, are 2 of the areas of 5 that I mentioned where internationally the global goals are not on track to be met. And that reinforced in my mind that whether you live in a relatively prosperous United Kingdom or an area where there are significant challenges, where there are critical housing and schooling and health issues, these are now universal on climate change and inequality. And it's been a thread throughout all of this workshop.
But most Commonwealth countries in Asia, Africa and Latin America face obstacles despite commitment to achieve SDGs. Members from various continents agreed that women and children are the most affected and likely to get poorer because of the less paid work, least educated and less property, especially land. Bernard Iga, UBC.
Academic staff in public universities maintain that their strike is on unless government honors the 150 billion shillings pledge for salary arrears. Government last week offered $15 billion to the Forum for Academic Staff in public universities, but they say the offer is far less than their demand. Our reporter Philip Aguta visited some public universities.
A visit to Chambogo University and Makerere Business School moves shows the universities are filled with first-year students undergoing orientation. The students appeared excited.
Yeah, it has started very well and staff is there to orient people.
Have any trouble with the university services? They are serving us in a good way, but maybe actually I've heard about the situation taking place by our lecturers right by now. They are planning to have a demonstration.
We have seen the letter that indicates that our lecturers are on strike, and even it reaffirms that they won't teach us when the university starts on 10th for the continuing students. But so far, we can still go to them and find out they are there on ground, but not yet in the lecture rooms. That's what I can confirm from you.
With just a week for the universities to start lectures, the authorities maintained the strike is on unless the demands are met.
Our institution subscribes to PONTEF, and we are bound by the collective decision taken by the PONTEF executive to lay down the tools of trade until the prescribed agreements between PONTEF and government are met.
We are here, as you can see, as you have seen, students are normal. They came on Saturday, we have received them and orientation is ongoing. And as you have known, there are several meetings. So it's really, there is work going on. Well, there is that demand, but there is also that responsibility to serve. So we are here, we are in offices, serving, but the demand is on, the strike is on, but we still continue to serve.
The universities are visibly busy with various activities. It's not a guarantee that lectures may start on Monday.
Orientation of students is done collectively by the administration and the guild. The guild of MOOBs is not on strike, and so is still undertaking its mandate to orient first-year students as the right requires. These programs, these activities are scheduled every year, and as an institution we work with the guild to orient first years. So despite the fact that there is a sit-down order, the orientation of first years is not suffering. It is going on.
Chambogo University administration has reportedly written to the staff calling them to start work, but the feedback can only be determined on Monday next week.
The negotiations are on. So far, the Vice Chancellor has written to those who are at home to come and join us as the negotiations go on, because the concerned ministries are aware. Minister of Finance, Minister of Public Service, Minister of Education, the ministers and the permanent secretaries and the first Deputy Prime Minister, they have all been written to. So the call is that, yes, there is going to be negotiation. But so far the situation is we are working.
Philip Aguta for UBC TV News.
The Kumbania of Bugwere Bishop John Chrysostom Weyabire has called upon clan leaders in Bugwere Kingdom to start a campaign in the fight against child abuse. The Ikumbania was officiating at a handover of instruments of power from the outgoing committee of Bugwere Students Association at Kasodo Technical Institute.
In many cases, young girls drop out of school and get married early. The Inkumbania of Bugwere, Bishop John Chrysostom Weyabire, advises Bugwere parents to keep the girl child in school. He was officiating at a handover of instruments of power from the outgoing committee of Bugwere Students Association. The outgoing chairperson of Bugwere Students Association, Murambi James, outlined most of the projects. Kasodo Technical Institute representative Lucas Cedric requested the Ikumbania to give full bursaries to humbled students who cannot afford tuition. Tanaba Kenneth compiled this report.
Luwero Muslim District Council Management has sacked Kasanau Mayor Primary School head teacher Mai Nansubuga for embezzling 1.9 million shillings UPE funds. The decision was announced by the Luwero Muslim District Kadi Sheikh Ramadan Mulindwa.
Upon realizing that the school standards were declining and the teachers claiming all the time that there was no money to run the school, she invited her for an accountability meeting, which she declined to honor. The head teacher Mai Nansubga instead put in place school management committees that would support her position.
It is really very, very painful that we have had within 2 months, over to 5 school management committees.
Kasanau Mayor Primary School has had 4 different school management committees in a period of 2 months. She used the last committee to withdraw the 1.9 million UPE funds from the school's Stanbic Bank account.
If I had not rushed to the manager, that money also 3.2 million would have disappeared, just like the 1.9 disappeared without any accountability.
Sheikh Ramadan Mulindwa says that after withdrawing the 1.9 UPE funds from Stanbic Bank, Mai Nansubga also attempted to withdraw 3.2 million shillings from the school's foundation body account in DFCU Bank.
This money has been being saved at DFCU Bank. The DEO went further to write a letter to the manager that these are the people who are replacing the foundation body on that account, that they should withdraw money.
The Secretary of Luwero Muslim District Council, Gaddafi Salim Baku, says that all teachers who want to work with schools funded by the Uganda Muslim Supreme Council must respect inspirations of the funding body. Report compiled by Jim Kalyesubula for UBC News.
Now, aside from being great contributors to the country's road accidents, widespread use of borders makes it easy for people to commit crimes and escape. So, as policy makers seek to put a ceiling on border operations, Kampala Metropolitan Traffic Police Commander Norman Musinga decries politicization of the industry. Musinga wants effective leadership for easy management of border operators in the country to fight both traffic and ordinary crimes.
Patience is a virtue, although it rarely makes meaning to border cyclists. They are seemingly in a rush always. Most times, they have no reason. But it is clear their actions are a disaster or will lead to a catastrophe. Scenes and situations similar to this could be caused by border cyclists. 2018 police crime report indicates that fatal crashes increased by 4.7% as serious crashes reduced by 6.8%. This reduction in serious crashes might not be conclusive. The same police report indicates that out of 8,826 post-mortem examinations carried out throughout the country, 2,905 were of fatal traffic accidents.
They are reckless. This is why I'm saying that they are unmanageable. They are a bit stubborn, violent. They involve themselves in some very many criminal activities. The statistics of the accidents have always been seen, indicating that they are most highly involved or highly ranked in causing serious accidents. Why? Because of their carelessness.
The June 12th, 2019 fire outbreak engulfed Lira town near the police roundabout in northern Uganda. A fuel tanker that had fallen the previous day burst into flames. The incident was blamed on a reckless border operator.
ekyalese muno ekyabadde tanka eno badde bali kugisitula kati badde bali kusitula bano oba yakoze kyene nestinga kati negwa wansi kati just kude wansi bwetyo amafuta negakirika.
All this thing was caused by overspeeding, reckless driving.
Policymakers seem to have neglected such recklessness, and analysts' conclusion that a ceiling on border operators was inevitable. The central business district of Kampala, Uganda's capital city, is one center of focus in this quest.
Kampala is free entry and exit. Everyone, whoever comes from Nakasongora, from Nakapiripiriti, from Barara, from Kapchorwa, can easily come and access a parking here within Kampala. So it's a free entry and exit. It's a bit challenging. So therefore, as police, we have found a very big challenge that we have encountered to manage these borders.
Such suggestion follows Uganda National Roads Authority plans to increase the number of expressways in Kampala. Unfortunately, border operators are not provided for in the design, which casts in doubt the plan of reducing them to 1,000.
They are limited access roads. They don't have these stops, and borders have small stops. We're picking somebody from here and dropping them 200 meters away, or at most 1 kilometer long. But we only have, like on the Kampala Interior Expressway, once you get on at Puseka, you can only come off at Kajansi. First stop, and then Impala, second stop. So it defeats the purpose for a border ride. I don't think people are going to be taking borders for that longer distance. If they are, then they should use the old highway.
On overall, borders contributing to road accidents are watched for committing organized crime, as seen in the murders of some Ugandan dignitaries. Government has installed CCTV cameras to manage organized crime in urban and peri-urban areas.
The enemy, in his stupidity, shifted the battle to the town now. And the town, they are using very shallow tactics, which is mainly hiding. Shoot somebody, drive off. So initially I had not really concentrated on this issue. But when the sheikhs were killed, and then John Kagezi, and then Kawesi, then Chigundu, no. So I came in.
Such border indiscipline must end, but police has a challenge to curb both traffic and organized crime, possibly due to political interference.
Most of them don't have requirements to be border qualified people to ride around. Some don't have permits, they don't put on crash helmet, others don't know anything concerning about rules and regulations governing Road Safety Act. It is to whom it may concern.
The recent Road Safety Summit in Kampala proposed a limit on the number of border motorcycles in the central business district of Kampala. The amendment of the traffic and road safety law was proposed and will check border indiscipline to lower the number of accidents in the country. Henry Okurut, UBC.
And with that, we take a short break. We return with more details. Do stick around.
Every dream has a challenging journey. Ours began in 1998 with a mission to drive the development of a robust communications sector in Uganda. We created structures to champion the dream. We've evolved, made discoveries, supported great minds, empowered Ugandans, and fostered a vibrant culture, enabling communication for all. Down the years, we've created memories and networks, uniting generations and building great partnerships. Together, we can go even further. UCC, celebrating 20 years of achievements.
Have you completed Senior 4 or Senior 6 and you want to do a 2-year certificate or a diploma course? Makerere Institute for Social Development, an affiliate to Makerere Business School, offers programs in accounting and finance, business administration, procurement and supplies management, social work and social administration, information technology, counseling and guidance, human resource, project planning and management, journalism, secretarial studies, and many others. We are located on Ta Apollo Kegwa Road, next to Oilcom Petrol Station, with a UBTEP Center number.
Nabubi yazimba kumucho muwanvu
Enkuba ya tonya nabubi ya kwa
Ekyama kya Busoga kikino nga ni Kagulu Rock nkola olusozi olw'Ekagulu mu igombolola ly'Ekagulu mu disitulikiti ey'Ebuyende. Ida tuninira olusozi olw'Ekagulu ni Pulezidenti wa Uganda Yoweri Kaguta Museveni ng'akyaziibwa Isaife ky'abazinga wa Busoga William Wilberforce Kadumbula Gabula Nalyopo owookuna ne Sipiika wa Paalamenti Maama Rebecca Itwala Kadaga era ng'empiya bukalina obuteereyi bwawo obw'okuwangulibwa abonaabona nga banira olusozi luno baalutuuka ku ntwiko. Oyina kuba ng'osobola okubona Busoga okuva yava okutuuka yakanga olengera ebibira olengera ensozi edindi agayanda n'omwiga kiiro ogusinga obuwanvu munsi yonayona. Kagulu nkola olusozi lwa byafaayo ng'Omusoga eyasooka yava e Bunolo wano niwe yatuukira. Oyitaabo n'empukumu yasulanga niwe yalimiranga ennimiro de nga bino byonna bya bwereere. Abantu okuva e Bule n'Ebweya bali kwekonda okuyida okubaawo okunina olusozi luno weenaba omu ku abo.
Bino byonna byakubaawo olwamu kagangena ku omwezi 17 omwezi ogw'omunaana omwaka 2019.
Empaka edda okunina olusozi Kagulu dikutuusibwaku Minisitule y'ebyobulambuzi n'ebyeyira mu bwakyabazinga bwa Busoga kyateebwamu empiya.
President w'Iwanga, Uganda Tourism Board, Uganda Wildlife Authority, Sanctuary Hotels Kamuli, UBC TV, Madvan Group of Companies, Big Fair, awalala
Hill water, purity, nothing less.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Pain Arena. Introducing on the right corner, Mr. Action, the reigning heavyweight champion in the ring against
the Headache, the #1 contender. And the bell rings.
Headache charges forward with a steady right and a left hook. Action dodges. He misses out with an inch. Wait a minute. Mr. Action launches back with a kick. The final blow. He is out.
If symptoms persist, seek medical advice.
Have you heard? Echoto Cultural and Food Festival brings all cultures together with all types of food for fun-filled moments. This is an amazing opportunity to find all Ugandan foods alongside those of international community in one place at the Uganda Museum from Friday 9th to 11th August 2019. Entries 10K with a food coupon and free for kids. An opportunity to test different foods for Baganda, Acholi, Bachiga, Chinese chapati, Ethiopian injera, Nigerian fufu, among others. Sponsored by
the long line hassle. With 1xBet, the power of placing the perfect bet is at your fingertips. Bet anytime from anywhere. Best of all, payment is instant. Place your bet on whatever you choose. Virtual games, bet games, sports, and even live betting. Winning has never been this simple. Bet with 1xBet. Advanced gaming is regulated by the Lotteries and Gaming Regulatory Board. Betting is addictive and can be psychologically harmful, and it's only eligible to persons above 18 years of age.
Welcome back. You're still watching News Tonight. In business news, companies and individuals recognized by Uganda Revenue Authority as authorized economic operators, AEO, has risen to 66. AEO is an initiative implemented by URA seeking to foster adherence to the customs laws and regulations by the business community. We have that story.
Authorized Economic Operator is a trade facilitation scheme which Uganda Revenue Authority under the Department of Customs is currently implementing with an objective of facilitating trade and to promote security of the international trade supply chain.
We are trying to reward compliance. The companies which are partnering with us to make sure that they are compliant with the requirements, they are given this kind of recognition. This has benefits for us as URA, and it also has benefits for the companies.
The number has now risen to 66 individuals and business entities that benefit from the privileges associated with being an AEO member. Benefits associated with the status include pre-arrival clearance of cargo, priority treatment while dealing with customs, extended license validity period of 3 years, and choice of place to do a physical examination.
In 2013, when the program started, there were 10 companies. Now there are 66. And trademark, what we are doing now with our regional program is to start a regional AEA platform for these companies so that they're able to get the same recognition regionally.
AEO program fosters international trade, and to qualify for the status, a good compliance to customs law and guidelines is paramount.
Of course, there are some checks and balances, but because of the trust you have built, you'll find that the time your documentation takes to be studied by somebody is not the same time that it will be taken by someone where there is a bit of doubt in what you could be doing. However, even when our goods pass without being critically over-checked, there is that window whereby the Uganda Revenue Authority will come to do what we call an ad hoc audit.
Dennis Igoa for UBC Business.
The 35-kilometer Entebbe Expressway was launched rather 1 year ago and passes through environmentally friendly scenes of wetlands and hills. The senior public relations officer at Uganda Tourism Board confirms that the stretch is attractive to visitors reaching Kampala from Entebbe International Airport.
There is a lovely road that runs from Busega into the hills. The 35-kilometer stretch of road, built to international standards, starts from the Busega flyover, navigating through massive wetland belts composed of streams and rivers that feed Lake Victoria. It is a lovely stretch running on top of mainly papyrus mats that shelter a variety of animal species adopted to waterlogged vegetation within the Lake Victoria Basin. The Director of District Support Coordination and Public Education at the National Environment Management Authority, Daniel Babikwa, says guidelines and construction plan to develop this infrastructure is the brainchild of NEMA rather than the developer.
Entebbe Road around Busega is not the design of the Chinese. It's a design devised by NEMA. The initial idea by those developers was to do the traditional pouring of soil and putting a road. But NEMA came out very strongly and insisted that the road is lifted to leave the natural flow of the water and the existence of the wetland. So that's one of our achievements as NEMA. Much as many of you guys may not know, that was NEMA's initiative.
The 15-minute drive on this magnificent road is less congested, thereby minimizing problems of pollution to the environment as opposed to the traditional Kampala-Entebbe highway. Very few vehicles commute here, making it easier, quicker, and safer to Uganda's major gateway to the outside world.
When international travelers are picking a destination to go to Africa, some of the key things that come to mind are security and transport. So what the expressway has done for us, it has made the transport faster and much easier for the tourists to get transported from the airport to our biggest tourist attraction.
The dual carriage Entebbe Express Highway is and will always remain the beauty of Uganda. A diversity of tree species planted along its road reserve will be an extra beauty when mature, serving as an important site for seasoned bird watchers.
What it does is that it gives the tourist a sneak peek of what they're yet to see when they go further into the country side. So it definitely gives the beautiful views of there are hills there. The swamp is actually very nice vegetation. So it gives them, I would say, like a sneak peek of what they're yet to see should they continue further into the country.
And from a distance, the road, which appears like a zip line across major wetland belts of Chituburu, Kajansi, Kasenge, and Busega, will now be a major tourist attraction point. For UBC News, Pathias Karekona, Peter Akugiziwe Arali, and Lorraine Masika reporting from Entebbe Peninsula.
Let's now take a look at the money markets. On the international scene, Iran has seized another foreign tanker in the Gulf state. Iranian forces seized the Iraqi ship for smuggling fuel for some Arab countries and detained 7 sailors, according to reports. Iraq's oil ministry has said it has no connection to the seized vessel and that it is working to gather information about it. The incident comes amid heightened tensions after the U.S. tightened sanctions on Iran's oil sector. If confirmed, the Iraqi tanker would be the 3rd foreign vessel to have been seized by Iran in recent weeks. Operation to seize the ship carrying about 700,000 litres was carried out last Wednesday near the Gulf island of Farsi. The tanker was reported to have been taken to Bushehr port in southwestern Iran and its fuel handed over to the authorities. Tensions have been high in the Gulf since the U.S. tightened oil sanctions against Iran. The U.S. has blamed Iran for 2 separate attacks in oil tankers in the Gulf of Oman in May and June, an allegation Tehran has denied. Iran also shot down a U.S. surveillance drone over the Strait of Hormuz in disputed circumstances. Meanwhile, judges of the International Criminal Court have deferred a decision on the amount and quality of evidence Dominic Ongwen's lawyers need to present to prove he is not responsible for the crimes he has been charged with. Ongwen's lawyers had asked Trial Chamber 9 to make an immediate ruling on the issue of the burden of proof they needed to satisfy and what standard of proof they needed to meet as they lay out their case before the chamber. The defense phase of Ongwen's trial began in September last year. The defense has invoked 2 sections of Article 31 of the ICC's founding law as the basis of their case. Ongwen has been charged with 70 counts of war crimes and crimes against humanity he is alleged to have committed between July 2002 and December. Ongwen's trial is the first time the provisions of Article 31 have been invoked at the ICC. The article lays out the grounds an accused person can argue to show they are not responsible for the crimes they have been charged with.
Kama paloria yela kidong lokom chung iwibie ikomal me Uganda. Dominic Ngwen makibiaga ni ober komanda machon mesinia brigade pa LRA ikelo dot Pierre.
Brought to you by Bet with 1xBet.
In sports, Wakiso Giants FC look to frustrate Super 8 defending champions KCCA FC when they meet on Tuesday afternoon in the FUFA Super 8 competitions. Now the two sides compete at the quarter-final stage with confirmation that Odumparaka, Vipers and Mbarara City have made it to the semis. KCCA FC and Wakiso Giants have met only twice, and if one is to go by the previous record, KCCA have a better chance of progress. Both teams were engaged in the final training sessions.
It doesn't mean that I'm trying to belittle the other clubs. No. They are playing the best club in the country, possibly the best club in Eastern Central. You know, they come knowing you're playing against the best club. They have to do everything there is. Meanwhile, for us, we don't have to react to them. We play our way. Because that way we have been playing is what has made the other competitors react, you know. So it's a matter of saying we are going to be as competitive. We take every game as seriously as the first one. Okay? So, like we said, it's really because you know, okay, if we lost to Wakiso, it will be news. But if we won, no news. Because you're expected to win. That's it. That's it.
It's an organized site, and there's no better chance than this that is playing Kampala State Council. They are the Sekafa champions. It's an organized site, and there's no better way in football than playing an organized site, because you know how they are organized there, and then you plan accordingly. So it's good to play an organized site, because when they come to play and you play them, they don't come to disorganize. But when you play a side that is disorganize you. So we as Wakiso Giants, we are ready for that game. We started our training early enough, knowing that they will be Super 8, and we're ready for.
Cipla Quality Chemicals have won the females category at the 4th corporate wood bowl outing they hosted at their Luzira main office. Our reporter has the details.
Competition continues to grow in the corporate football category, whose 4th outing has been hosted at Cipla Quality Chemicals head office in Luzira. Players from more than 12 clubs took part in the competition, contested on the stroke format. Ultimately, Cipla Chemicals' Angel Turinawe scored 50 strokes to win the ladies singles category and also guide her team to the women's top spot.
I'm happy we are a team which has won today, and we have been winning for all over the 3 tournaments. This was the 4th tournament. We have won it also as ladies, and we are leading like last year.
In the men's category, Ndeje Corporate Club's Mari Hassan won the singles category, but his team came second to Kisubi Corporate Club in the team event.
Teamwork. We work as a team. If there is any mistake to the friend, he feels that you feel free to tell him, to guide him, and you also him too. realize that there is a mistake and change.
Other players that excelled at the outing were Godfrey Bukenya, Jackson Masiga, Miri Nansereko, Jean Lonkuse, and Rose Matovu. The clubs in attendance included Stroke Football Club, Bukarabi, Bugema, Zoe, Uganda Revenue Authority, and Uganda National Examinations Board. John Ban Sentamu reporting.
The final selection for the national boxing team has been concluded for fighters to represent the country at the All-Africa Games in Morocco on 18th August. The National Boxing Federation gave chance to all fighters in camp to prove their worth before landing on the final 8 fighters to compete in Morocco. The selections held in Kamocha playgrounds at the National Novice Boxing Championships saw among Rebecca and Bareke Helen winning their fights among the ladies to compete at the All-African Games. These were joined by Masembe Isaac of Kobab Boxing Club, Hamid Daku and Tamale Joshua. Uganda Boxing Federation revealed that they had earlier selected 20 fighters for the Games on the 18th, but to be told that the National Council of Sports could only accommodate 8 fighters. They feel cheated that some of the fighters who would have won medals for the country are missing out. The final fighters will remain in camp until the 17th when they leave for the Games.
Era bino betwasuubiza ntugenda kwenye okukyusa boxing abo okyusa ebikonde tulina okuwangula ekyo kimu tulina okuba ne capacities z'aba officials nga ziri uplifted. Last 2 weeks ago twalina omusomo gw'aba coaches ne gugwa successfully era tusuubira aba coach nga 25 okuyita then kati tuli ku musomo gw'aba referee and judges era nabo kiri kyekimu kwabo tulina officiation yaffe then kati tugenda kutuula nga technical committee tufunire experience z'abazanyi bano competitiveness yabwe badde etya then tupicking mu the 8 betunaweereza mu Olympic committee naye nga akaseera kazibu nnyo because si twandyagadde ffe nga UBF twetusobola n'okwewola ssente supportinga team yana nekola ki ega ne chikiya ne batugende kisoboka ekyo we just have supply okuba abantu 8 so emikono gyaffe giri tight twandagade team yona esitregende naye tujja kusaba kozi wa organizers kibasazeewo.
Brought to you by Bet with 1xBet.
And now a quick look at our top stories. Uganda Law Society condemns attack on magistrate. Police counter-terrorism squad to beef up security in and around court premises. On the international scene, Iran seizes Iraqi tanker for smuggling fuel. And in sports, Wakiso's Giants host KCC AFC in the FUFA Super 8 tournament. And that does it for tonight. Thank you for sticking with us. Mogalo Mohammed on Sign Language. I am Rhoda Ngonzi. Have a lovely night.
Hello there. Once again, I want to welcome you to the Weather Center. Now, there is a high pressure system affecting the country today, leading to a reduction in wet weather activities. Nevertheless, by 9 o'clock this morning, we had a total of 18.4 millimeters of rainfall from Arua, and also